Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, and you know what that means. Coming to you from Europe's oil capital, Aberdeen City. My name is Steve Smith, and this is my review of last night's AEW Rampage for the 1st of October 2021. I should mention that this event was taped on Wednesday's Dynamite tapings from Rochester, New York, which was the Brody Lee tribute tapings, which was a really good vibe, and that all ties into the end of today's show. Can you believe it's freaking October already? I mean, what the hell? I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I've got October fever. My brain is just cloudy as hell this morning. Thankfully, I'm wearing a hat, so you can't see the mistake I made. I went to cut my hair before the stream, and I normally use, I just shave my hair. I've got no hair, you know what I mean? So I normally use, clippers, and I normally put on, a half blade. But I started cutting my hair and was like, that feels a bit cold. And realised I didn't put the blade on. I was doing my sideys. So my sideys are like a number 0. I've got literally nothing there. Oh, you can see that side. Literally nothing there. I'm feeling uglier than usual. So here's hoping some people send me some positive vibes during the show. I need them today. I need some positive vibes today. It would be good to get some positive vibes today. But what did give me some positive vibes and a nice positive feeling was last night's AEW show. The Rampage show. I watched it this morning and I really liked it. It was a fun show, and I'm going to talk about it. First of all, housekeeping time. This is the best AEW review the internet has to offer, in my opinion, my humble opinion. Humble as hell. But I don't have many viewers or people watching. I don't have that much subscribers, so this needs to change. Please subscribe to my channel, which has the abnormally long name of Steve Broke Britannia Vlogs and Wrestling. This is my first show back on my own channel after doing Dynamite and Rampage reviews for WrestleBuddy's channel. If you want to watch some really good content, some interviews, podcasts and stuff like that, you should really check WrestleBuddy out. I'm not going to be making videos on their channel anymore, but you should check them out. They put a lot of work in, and yeah, they've got really good interviews there no one's seen because they don't have the viewership. It's like, I interviewed Doug Williams, and I think only 100 people seen it, and the interview's really good. So, you should really check them out after this if you want some good content that you've never seen before. I'd like to thank Alex personally. That's Alex that runs WrestleBuddy for allowing me to stream content on the channel over the last month or so, because it's been fun regardless. Let's get to the show, though. This Rampage started with a match I was super hyped for. On commentary tonight, we had my favourite combination of commentators. That was a tongue twister. At this moment in time, Taz and Excalibur. Seriously, they are such a good team in this role. They have been paired up as on commentary for well over a year now on Dark. And they really have a really good chemistry. They combined, even individually, they bring a great knowledge of wrestling and fighting in general to the table, but combined they're a really, really, really good commentary team. One of the best in the business, I would argue. So let's get to the match. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, versus the Super Elites, Nick Jackson. The reaction, right off the bat, the reaction Bryan Danielson gets when he comes onto the stage out to have his match is something to behold. It's huge. He gets such a big response these days. We love to see it. Nick Jackson also got a really big response. He was joined at the ring by Matt Jackson and Brandon Cutler. So, first off, what a match. This was an amazing match. Brilliant. So good. I don't know how many more positive descriptors I can put in this one sentence, but it was so good I had to watch it twice. The match started out in quite a unique way. We know Bryan Danielson is obviously the face in this match, as they say. In the first few minutes of the match, and at times during it, it seemed like the concept of faces and heels was subverted, although it was done in a way to make Bryan seem like an absolute badass. Now, the start of this match was a great example. I'm not going to get too inside here, because I'm not an inside podcast. I don't want to break down matches and stuff, because I only ever had 3 matches. Well, actually, I think I had about 4. Only one of them was in front of an audience more than 10 people, so I don't know if they even count. But that said, I'm not going to get too inside. The opening part of a match is usually what they call a shine. It serves the purpose of telling fans that the good guy can win this match by being stronger, faster, more intelligent, more agile, more flippy, whatever. That they've got, it's there to tell people that that the good guy's got some sort of advantage over the bad guy, and that they can win in using that advantage. This happens in most, if not all, wrestling matches, unless it's like a squash match when someone just gets the piss beaten out of them for a few minutes, and it just starts on the heat. The start of this match, it felt more like Nick Jackson, who was the heel, was getting the shine, whereas usually it's the babyface that would get the shine. They made it very clear that Nick was faster and more agile, and he done this by avoiding some of Bryan Danielson's kicks, and then casually jumping out the ring and backflipping off the apron, landing on his feet. This very shiny part of the match was followed by Bryan hitting a sweet tope suicida, total good, then rolling Nick into the ring, and Bryan started to kick the ever-living crap out of Nick Jackson before locking in a Liger-esque Romero special, which he transitioned into a really nasty-looking Dragon Sleeper. It was cool, it was kind of cool. Jackson might manage to fire back, started trying to beat the crap out of Bryan, which got a large "you're going to get your effing head kicked in" chant from the crowd. At this point, Taz commented that the crowd were chanting very long, complete sentences, which made me laugh. As I said, Taz is great on commentary. They're really, really good. Bryan regained control quite quickly, and with Jackson's arm tied up in the ropes, started laying in forearms into his chest. It was really cool. I loved the way he was doing it. This led to Bryan stretching the heck out of his shoulder in a very slow and methodical way. Like I said, it was quite heelish. Like, if you were looking at this in the classic sense, you would say it's like he's working very heelish, but he's not a heel. I like what they're doing here, because they're just highlighting Bryan's style, that he's a technical wizard. He doesn't rush through stuff. He doesn't need to doesn't need to go fly about. He's slow, methodical, and he's really good at what he does. And again, Bryan's style in AEW really, it seems to be, it subverts the heel face paradigm that we are used to, and I like it. It's like they're trying to put that paradigm aside and just focus on the fact that wrestling is about two people trying to beat one another up in a violent contest to see who is the better man or woman. I'm all about that. All about that. I was talking a bit too much about this match, so let's try and go over some of the more notable spots. For me, the best bit of the match was when Nick Jackson had Bryan on his knees in the centre of the ring, and he started laying in yes kicks, like the chest kicks to the chest, the ones that Bryan Danielson usually does to his opponents. Now, the thing that made this so cool was that Bryan no-sold most of these kicks and fired up through it. Now, he didn't fire up instantly. The first kick was like, he staggered a little bit, but then the second one barely sold it, third one no-sold it, fourth no-sold it, and by the time it got to the end of the sequence, he was like, leaning into the kicks, and then started demanding that Nick kick him harder and harder and harder. Just awesome. Just awesome. I love this. Bryan stood up and spat in Nick Jackson's face, and then started hitting him in the ring got him in the corner and started hitting him with his chop kick combo. Before then getting him in the middle of the ring and hitting the yes kicks. It's brilliant. Like I said, he spat in his face. That's a very heelish thing to do. I don't want to labour that point though. Later in the match, Jackson went for a 450 splash, but Bryan avoided it and turned it into a label lock, which was cool. Nick Jackson got his foot on the ropes. This was followed by a bit of ring apron action, as I like to say. Bryan hit Nick with the yes kicks on the apron, but in the melee, Nick managed to move out the way and Bryan kicked the ring post. This led to him eating a German suplex on the hardest part of the ring. Jackson tried to finish. Jackson got Bryan back in the ring, rolled him in, tried to lock in a sharpshooter to no avail. Now, the finish to this simply awesome match came after Nick Jackson accidentally kicked Brandon Cutler on the outside. Bryan went on to hit a dragon suplex on Nick, so he hit the dragon suplex and he went straight from the dragon suplex into the Excalibur called them hammer and anvil elbow strikes, which is a cool name. And he, obviously he still had one of his arms tied up and he's hitting them. Then he hooks the arm again, flips over into the cattle mutilation submission for the finish, which is good to see cattle mutilation back as his finisher, because it's a Cool finisher. He's the only person that's pretty much I've ever seen doing it in the top levels of wrestling, and it's good to see him using it again because it's a really cool finish, you know. This was an amazing match. Whilst it was not the 30-minute long clinic we were treated to from Kenny and Bryan a few weeks ago, I might actually like this match more. It was more flashy. Bryan, it was just, I don't know. It's got one of those intangible qualities, and I just think it was I prefer, on a personal level, I thought it was better. The Omega Bryan match, that was a clinic. That was a total clinic. That was like wrestling perfection, like how to do wrestling the best way. This match, however, was a different type of match. Obviously, you've got Nick Jackson, and he's a high flyer, different style of worker to Kenny. And Bryan Danielson just showed that he can work with anyone. And he's just so good at the moment. It's brilliant. American Dragon is back, but with even more experience from his time on what was the biggest stage in wrestling. This was outstanding. Like, I'm gushing over this match. I watched it twice. I literally watched it twice. I watched it, and I was like, I need to watch this again. This was brilliant. Proper amazing. Post-match, the Super Elite, that is Adam Cole and Kenny Omega, and Matt Jackson ran into the ring. But before they could... Matt Jackson was already there. Adam Cole and Kenny Omega ran out to the ring, but before they could do anything other than check on Nick Jackson, the anti-elite, that is Christian Cage and the Jurassic Express, all came out to back Bryan up and check on him. Everything quickly broke down into a brawl. People were fighting. Omega ran out the ring at this point, was standing on the outside. Christian hit Matt Jackson with a kill switch. This led to Nick went to hit Christian with a super kick, but he was blocked, and then he ate a big spinning tail whip kick from Luchasaurus. This led to Jungle Boy locking Adam Cole in the snare trap. He was like, ugh. Kenny Omega now he's like, I need to get in and save Adam Cole. He ran in, got locked in the label lock, and we ended the segment with both Omega and Cole tapping like crazy. The 8-man tag match on Wednesday's Dynamite should be awesome. It's going to be the Super Elite versus what I call the Anti-Elite. I'm hyped for this. It's going to be a really good match. Wednesday's Dynamite is the second anniversary show of Dynamite. There's a lot of big things booked for it. The Casino Ladder match, which they're going to be having, looks like it's going to be great. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So, with that done, we went quickly backstage to a promo with Hook and Powerhouse Hobbs, who introduced a video by Ricky Starks, which was directed at Brian Cage. This was a fancy video. It had like movie quality productions in it. Basically, he's calling out Brian Cage. I thought this feud was over, but it looks like it's not over. Starks and Brian Cage have unfinished business. I just have to mention here, though, Ricky Starks was wearing blue suede slip-on shoes. Like, what the hell? Give them the heave-ho. Like, slip-on blue suede shoes. Come on, Ricky. What the heck, man? What the heck? As we came back from the break, Taz and Excalibur were now joined by Ricky Starks in commentary. All about that. Ricky Starks has been quite good when he's on commentary. No problem with that. We went to a quick promo video with CM Punk. He's talking about how being back in his match against Powerhouse Hobbs. The gist of this, though, was that he is expecting people to start coming for him, and he wants to face the best that AEW has to offer. It's looking like he feels the rust has been knocked off, and I'm interested to see who he faces next, you know. When it comes to who CM Punk could face in AEW, there's like limitless possibilities. They've got such a deep roster at the moment. Like, they could just go, awesome match. So much good can come from this. Next up, it was the women's triple threat match between Jade Cargil, Nyla Rose, and Thunder Rosa. Jade came out first. She has one of the best looks in wrestling, and out of all the women in AEW, she just looks like a wrestler, you know. But she is still hella green. So I was interested to see how she did in this match, probably more than the other two, because I know the other two are pretty solid. Second came out the native beast Nyla, then Thunder Rosa, who is my favourite wrestler on the women's side of the roster. In my opinion, she was one of the best. And out of all wrestling, she was one of the best wrestlers in 2020, early 2021, period. Nothing but good things to say about Thunder Rosa. So this match was fun. Early on, everyone got a chance to look good. Rosa hit Jade with a big move. Nyla slammed Rosa, and then Jade faced off with Nyla and knocked her out of the ring. We went to the break with Rosa getting the advantage and standing tall. Like, yeah, I'm Thunder Rosa. Awesome. When we came back from the break, there was a trash can in the ring, and Rosa hit Jade with a running dropkick to the back, then a running dropkick to the chest, and a running dropkick into the trash can, which she was then holding. You know, I forgot this was even a no DQ match, but it was. I guess more stuff happened during the break, but we didn't get a picture-in-picture here, so even us Fight TV viewers, we didn't know what happened here. The weekly Fight TV Smart TV app issues reared their ugly heads again, and my playback got stuck in a loop of Jade Cargil hitting, I think, Thunder Rosa with a clothesline. It just kept looping, clothesline, freezing clothesline. It's like, thanks, Fight. I would love it if they'd sort these problems out one day, please. After a few minutes of laboriously skipping back through the entire episode to get where I was, because the Fight TV app doesn't have a resume from last point thing or a decent fast forward function, I got back into the match. Very quickly, Jade was cut off by Nyla and put in a single leg crab, but Rosa broke it up with a running knee to Nyla. Now, during the break, I guess it was during the break, so I didn't see it happen, a table had been set up outside the ring, like just at the entranceway. Nyla and Rosa were outside the ring on the apron. Nyla was setting Rosa up to, it looked like, to give her a superplex through the table on the ring, which if she'd actually did that, I think might have killed her. It would have been savage. But Rosa managed to wriggle out in between Nyla Rose's legs, get her in a powerbomb, and powerbombed Nyla through the table on the floor. This got a giant holy SHIT chant, and it was well deserved. It was a bloody awesome spot. The table just looks like it. Poor Nyla. Hope she's okay. This was a short but sweet triple threat match. My only concern in the match, as I said earlier, was that Jade. Oh, sorry, I just skipped a paragraph. So yeah, after the powerbomb spot, Rosa was trying to get Nyla in the ring. Obviously, Nyla's a lot bigger than Rosa, so she was struggling. Jade came up behind her with a steel chair, beat her up with a steel chair, pinned her, 1, 2, 3, got the win. Jade Cargill won with a steel chair. It was cool. There was no need for any fancy moves or nothing. Steel chair, no DQ, done and dusted. Right. So yeah, it was a short but sweet triple threat match. My only concern in the match, as I said at the start, was that Jade could be overexposed by this. But the way they worked the match, she was only in it for short bursts, and then she got the win in a way that ensured that any greenness, so to speak, or lack of experience was totally hidden from sight. You know, they did the thing where they hide the negatives, accentuate the positives. And it led to quite a good match, and the crowd absolutely loved it. The crowd were all over it. I thought it was great, short, sweet. It's all it's needed. You don't need to. You don't need to remake the wheel with these sort of things, especially in a no DQ match. There's always a way to do it in a way where people's positive sides can be accentuated. After the match, we got a quick promo video with Malachi Black. I think, well, it was aimed at Cody Rhodes, but I think he was just aiming at this at everyone as well. He's such a good promo. He's like such a good character. In short, he hopes that what he has done to Cody destroys his soul. And that he went on to say there are more tolls that needed to be collected in AEW. So, the House of Black wants more of this. I'm all about the House of Black thing. Love it. I don't know if we have seen the last of Cody versus Malachi, or if he's moving into new feuds, or he's just going to start beating people up for the sake of it. But I'll be happy with either of them. If we get another, like a finishing match of the Cody Malachi Black thing, I think that'd be cool. I don't think it's needed. I think the Cody Malachi Black thing's happened. Malachi's just ruined his life and he's moving on. But if they need one more match, I'd be cool with that. Although if they have one more match, it means Cody probably has to win that match. Or lose it. I mean, they could have another last match. Cody loses again, then turns on whoever's with him. It'd be a good catalyst. But I think the wheels are already in motion for Cody turning heel or something along those lines, because they're teasing it now. They're going with it. So next up, we had a quick Sammy Guevara promo video. Obviously, he's the new TNT title championship. His first challenger for the TNT title is the awesome Bobby Fish. I didn't realise he was in AEW. I believe there was a promo on Roads to the Top or something like that. I didn't see it. I should really go back and watch it. I didn't even realise he was in AEW now. You're like, what the hell? Why did WWE let him go? Like, Bobby Fish is awesome. So this match will be on Wednesday on the Dynamite second year anniversary show. There'll also be the Elite versus Anti-Elite match, and we will also have the Casino ladder match. So during today's Rampage, last night's Rampage, we got 6 other participants for Wednesday's Casino ladder match announced. In this match, so obviously the way it works is they announce 6 people that's in the match. There's a 7th man who is the Joker, and we don't find out who the Joker is until the match happens. All about this. I think the winner gets the big casino chip and they get to cash in for a title shot or something like that. I forget what it is. It's going to be explained more. I probably should have did more research in this. The last match that they did this was cool. I think it was Brian Cage won the match last time. So it'll be cool. It was a good match last time, and I imagine it's going to be a good match. Anyway, I digress. In the match, we have announced Pac, Andrade El Idolo, Orange Cassidy, Matt Hardy, Lance Archer, John Moxley, and the Joker. So much like the Casino Battle Royal, as I said, there's a Joker. This match has good things written all over it. I'm looking forward to this. So I've not seen a ladder match in ages, you know what I mean? Especially not one of these winner-takes-all, money-in-the-bank style ladder matches. I'm down with that. I'm down. With the main event looming, we then went to the customary Mark Henry backstage interview between Jack Evans, who was with Matt Hardy, and Orange Cassidy. Matt says he wants to see Orange Cassidy shaved bald, but Cassidy's like, what? He acts like he's got no idea what's going on, which... Why? He was like, I don't know what's happening. What do you mean? It's a hair versus hair match. I guess I better not lose then, eh? Vintage Orange Cassidy. I love it. He just he just walked away in the middle of the thing, you know. It's like Jack Evans is sitting cutting a promo on him, and Orange Cassidy just walks out of the shot. It's like, okay. But it looks like we've had enough talk here. It's time for the main event. The first AEW hair versus hair match ever. So let's get to it. Orange Cassidy came out first. He was super over with the crowd. Super, super, super over. People love Orange Cassidy. He's one of the biggest stars AEW have got. And he's used in a perfect way. They don't use him too much. They don't use him not enough. What a comparison. You know what I mean? They just do it right. Jack Evans came to the ring with Matt Hardy. So going into the match, I cannot tell if this is the end of the feud or if this is just the beginning and this is going to lead to something else. You know, like a Cassidy versus Hardy hair match later on down the line. Early on, Hardy got in the ring to try and distract Orange Cassidy, but to no avail. He couldn't, he was trying to get the early win so Jack could get him shaved bald, whatever. Cool. Jack Evans was jumping around a lot in this match but at the start, but Orange was just doing he had his hand, you can't even see my pockets, why am I doing that? He had his hands in his pockets and he's just dodging around, laying in the silly little kicks and stuff like that, just taunting him, you know what I mean? Before managing to counter him, grabbing Jack Evans by the hair and started spinning him round and round. It was cool. With the ref distracted, Hardy again tried to pull Orange out of the ring and he laid him out, and this is when they went to the break. Well, Evans hit a 450 splash to the outside, then they went to the break. Well, for those watching on TV, they went to the break on Fight. We actually got to see the break portion of this match and Fight. Jack proceeded to get heat on Orange for a few minutes. Now, Evans looked really good in this match, although before he even got to the 450 splash bit, he looked like he was pretty blown up. Poor Jack. I mean, he's a seriously amazing wrestler, but since the pandemic, the break that the pandemic caused and not being able to wrestle for months, he's looked like he's struggled with extra stamina, but I can't tell if he just gets blown up easy or if it's all just selling. I don't know. Thankfully for him, he is one of these people that even when he's blown up, he can still do amazing things. The guy's a freak of nature. I mean, it could all be, as I said, it could all be selling. I might be 1,000% wrong with my assertion here. That said, he's still outstanding to watch, you know. He's not the best. I mean, he doesn't have 5-star matches, but he can do some really cool stuff. So the tide turned in this match when Evans went for a cartwheel back elbow to Cassidy, who was in the corner, but was countered with a bandera type thing, which sent him flying to the outside. Hardy then managed to take Orange then managed to take Hardy out. Evans then managed to hit Orange with a really cool Northern Lights suplex, which fed directly into a Blue Thunder Bomb, like a combination move for a 2 count. I loved that. That was really cool. He then set Cassidy up for his Sky Twister finish, but Orange managed to get out of the way, and then he hit Jack with a couple of big DDTs as he fired back. Man, I'm tripping over my words today, more than usual. At this point, Hardy was obviously getting frustrated that Jack had not got the win yet, so he called Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny all out to ringside to assist Evans. But before they could get to ringside, they were standing on the ramp. The best friends, Chuck Taylor, Wheeler Yuta, and Chris Statlander, all appeared, cut them off, stopped them getting to the ring. Hardy was like, "Oh, you think so?" He then waved the rest of the HFO family, that is Private Party and Angelico and newcomer George Ool. But then again, before they could get to the ring, the entire Dark Order all ran out to join the best friends and stop HFO's interfering ways. Evans was distracted by everything that was happening outside the ring, and when he turned to look at Orange Cassidy, he was laid out with the orange punch for the 3 count and the win. It was at this point I realised that Chuck Taylor was dressed as a barber, like the black apron thing on as well. I like that. Nice little touch. Angelico tried to run into the ring to save Jack and get him out and stop him getting his hair cut, but he was beaten up by the Dark Order. At this point, Matt Hardy decided, hey, you know what? We tried. He told Jack, this is for the greater good, and he told all the HFO to get backstage, leaving poor Jack Evans alone in the ring to get his hair cut. Poor Jack. He didn't even want to be in this match, you know? Orange Cassidy then got the scissors, pulled his ponytail up, and snip, 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 cut the ponytail off, flashing it about. Wheeler Yuta then bust out a pair of clippers and they started shaving Jack Evans bald. All while this was happening, Orange Cassidy got one of those large sweeping brushes you would see in a barber or like a hairdresser's, and he's sweeping the hair up as if he's working in a barber shop. Like, okay, I laughed. The show went off where when negative one came out to the ring at the end of the match. He got in the ring, and the show went off air with a really, really cool thing. So like Wheeler Yuta pulled out like a stick-on mustache out his pocket, stuck it on negative one's mask. So he's standing there with his, obviously he wears a mask and he's got a big fake mustache on, which you can see in the thumbnail of this video because I used a picture. And then all the Dark Order and all the best friends all stood around him, and they all went in for the biggest group hug you have ever seen to negative one. This was such a nice way to end the Rochester tapings, which of course were dedicated to the late Brody Lee, that is negative one's long departed father. All the people got what they want here. Everyone got what they want. Everyone was sent home with huge smiles. You have to be a psychopath not to smile at that last section because it was just so nice. I loved it. This was a super fun episode of Rampage. I will go out on a limb here and say this was my favourite episode of Rampage since its inception. Even better than the CM Punk debut episode, because like the CM Punk debut episode was good at the CM Punk debut. That was super emotional. It was a really big moment for wrestling. But in terms of action, matches, nice endings and stuff like that, this one, I loved this episode. It was really, really good. The only match in the card, like I said, I thought may have been a bit shonky was the triple threat match, but the women in the match worked it in such a way that simply did not happen. There is no such thing as a perfect show. I'll just say this now. It's impossible to have a perfect show, but it is really hard to find flaws in this week's episode. It's not perfect. Things could be better. I mean, the triple threat match, it could have been a bit longer. They could have did more stuff. It was a really short triple threat match. But that is a gigantic nitpick. As the match we got was super fun, short, sweet, and all the rest of the stuff we've seen in the show was pretty much flawless. Like I say at the start. So that's the review, everyone. Let me just do my little sign-off bit. So like, as I said at the start, this, in my opinion, is one of the best AEW reviews, whether it's Rampage or Dynamite, the internet has to offer. But I don't have many viewers, I don't have many subscribers, and I want people watching, I want people subscribing, and I want people to engage there. I want to talk to people, talk to you about AEW Rampage and Dynamite. So please subscribe to my channel. That is the absurdly named Steve Brook Britannia Vlogs and Wrestling. Follow me on Twitter at Brook Britannia, and I will catch you all on Thursday on this channel at 1 PM to review the second anniversary show for AEW Dynamite. Peace out, everyone. Cheerio. Goodbye. Au revoir. Danke. Guten Abend. Take it easy.